So, what's up, my dear esteemed guests and my beautiful subscribers? This is, of course, your favorite Shogun here, Sugi, and today I'm gonna be reviewing the brand new Dragon Ball Super movie, Super Hero. Now, first and foremost, I'm not exactly a big fan of the name because it has the word super there 2 times in a row. I mean, it could have been called Dragon Ball Super Heroes or Hero, but I mean, the word superhero makes a lot of sense thematically what the movie is fundamentally about. So, I mean, it is what it is. Now, historically, Dragon Ball movies are quite bad. Well, actually, I thought Lord Slug was a good movie. I don't care. You can go sit on Slug's green cock if you want, but it won't change my thoughts about those horrible Dragon Ball Z movies. I mean, when you were a kid and everything and you were really into everything Dragon Ball, yeah, sure, back then, those movies were great, but if you actually rewatch them, they are not really that good, animation-wise or even like plot-wise. And I mean, there were some cool characters which were like made canon later, like Broly, for instance, but fundamentally, yeah, they were not really that great movies. Now, when we look into the Dragon Ball Super movies, though, are definitely a bit more higher quality because Toriyama is a lot more involved with these, and they perhaps put more time and effort into these movies, rather than when they were running out with Z in the TV. And Broly, in my opinion, was pretty solid. It had opportunities, obviously, to flesh out more of the Saiyan lore, but it sadly didn't. That was something that I really, really wanted to see. More Nappa, more Raditz, more King Vegeta. And Beerus and Golden Frieza movies weren't really that good either. I think they were too comedic and really lacked the balance between being a serious and comedic show. Throughout Z, for instance, I thought it had a perfect balance of having a bit of gag time now and then, but fundamentally it was a very serious show, and that's what's something that the Golden Frieza and Beerus movies I think really lacked. So that's why I thought the Broly was really good. Also, from animation perspective, it was a very fantastic piece of art. And obviously, with Superhero, they have taken a bit of a different animation route here, which I will talk about in a second. Now, this is a sequel movie to Broly, so if you haven't seen Dragon Ball Super nor the movies, this is going to be downplaying your experience fundamentally because it is created as a sequel story. Often or not, with any other anime franchise movies, they always tend to be like standalone fan service that anybody can basically go watch. But with these Dragon Ball Super movies, they're definitely meant to be as a continuation of another. I mean, you don't need to watch Dragon Ball Super as long as you have watched the other movies, because there will be some characters making appearances from Broly. I mean, Broly himself is appearing in this movie, something that I didn't quite expect. And that kind of brings into a lot of the good sides of the trailer, because the trailer kind of gives you a bit of a different idea what exactly is this movie about, and I think that was fantastic because there were a lot of surprises for me in this movie, which I did not expect to see or hear about or being focused on in this movie. So it turned out to be quite different from the actual initial trailers and teasers that they showed, which is very good when they actually mislead the viewers a bit. Not in a too drastic way where they show a lot of fight scenes and then there's no fight scenes. That would be bad. But fundamentally, I think it's important not to tell the whole story in a whole trailer. Now, the movie is sort of a homage to the Android Saga, kind of like the Golden Frieza movie was homage to Frieza Saga, and it kind of fleshes out a bit of the Red Ribbon Army. There's flashbacks and everything. There's more lore about Dr. Gero and his children. Actually, one of the main villains is a grandson of Gero, and all the characters, by the way, were designed by Toriyama, so that was pretty good. So Toriyama was not the person who directed this or written, he just kind of like contributed some designs, which was exactly what we wanted for him, because fundamentally, I don't care what you think, Toriyama is not exactly a great storyteller. He makes good designs, and that's his best where he's at. But fundamentally, I think somebody else has to basically write the stories, and maybe he can put out some input there and there. But fundamentally, I think it's always good to see something that is not directed or story is not by Toriyama, since he has kind of made some mistakes in the past. Now, in terms of the story, I think it's actually quite strong compared to a lot of the other Dragon Ball movies, the super ones and the non-super ones. It's a bit more heavier on the dialogue, especially on the beginning, and than some of the existing movies, which I think Broly was a lot about fighting. I mean, it had lore in it, obviously, and dialogue, but this one has kind of like in the beginning, there's a bit of a build up here, kind of fleshing out the Red Ribbon, lore and their descendants and why they're coming back and having revenge exactly, but they're still kind of like unknown, like who exactly like destroyed Cell and the Red Ribbon Army, which is kind of weird plot, but they kind of needed that in order to kind of like justify so the designs of the characters in this movie. You will understand if you have seen the movie. Now, let's talk about the animation style. Now, it's not as clean and cool as it was in Broly, but this was definitely something that was probably cheaper to produce and faster to produce than the Broly animation style, and I think it fundamentally works quite nice. Toei, when they really put their effort into doing 3D animation, they can do very fantastic work. And I think there's very few people who would disagree with that statement. There's obviously so many people in anime community who refuse watching anything 3D just because it's 3D, not because on the grounds that it's bad or good 3D. And I think it blended out this sort of cell shade graphical style, which was to my liking. Obviously, I do prefer the 2D style, but sometimes you have to do different things to cater to different audience, and I think it was nice to have a bit of a refreshing thing. I don't think this is going to become a meta where they're going to be using this type of style going onwards. I think they're going to be experimenting with things going on. They might use this style again, or they might use the Broly style again. Who knows? But I think this was a kind of like an experimentation for them. I don't think that they're going to be doing a whole TV show with this style, though. But I wouldn't mind it. Then again, if they did a TV show, a super sequel or something, I don't think it would be as good because the budget probably wouldn't be able to put it in the efficient level where the quality is high as it needs to be because like low budget 3D is much worse than low budget 2D in my opinion. Now, there was also one of the things that surprised me was there was some good music tracks in this movie, especially the main theme, among some other tracks that played out during the battles. Usually, in my opinion, Dragon Ball has never been that anime, even though it's super successful. And this kind of goes a bit into One Piece as well, which are the two most popular Toei's and Weekly Shonen Jump's anime, but they never had the best soundtracks, like Naruto soundtrack or Hitman Reborn or Bleach soundtracks. Despite what you think about those anime, their soundtracks are like really, really high end. And Dragon Ball, yeah, there's like one or two tracks there and there that you can think, oh, this is a cool track. And I agree with you, but when you look at the overall quality of the soundtracks in Dragon Ball, I don't think they were really that strong, or something that I would be vibing out when I'm like, want to listen to them outside of the actual anime, which is something that I do with some tracks from a lot of other shonen. But yeah, I was surprised about the soundtrack quality too, which was very solid. The main theme is something that you want to definitely check out, very orchestral, which is not exactly the Dragon Ball style, but it worked out really well on this one. Now, what I fundamentally loved about this movie, so we obviously haven't talked about any of the premise. Basically, it's about Red Ribbon Army coming back with new androids who are posing as superheroes sorts, and they basically pick a fight with Gohan and Piccolo. And this, while there was kind of like a weird thing that they are portrayed as superheroes, but they don't make any public appearances or do any type of a PR types of thing that, hey, we are now the new superheroes saving the world and yada yada yada. I think they could have done something like that in the story, and they could have given more background story to these new villains, Gamma 1 and 2, which are these new form of androids. Now, but what I liked really about this movie was that it had a big focus on Piccolo and Gohan, and Piccolo especially. A lot of character development in this movie, and that was really important because I felt like he was very sidelined in Super. He was very relevant character in Android Saga, in Frieza Saga, maybe not so much in Majin Buu, but fundamentally like Piccolo ever since like Android Saga and Cell Saga, he was kind of being sidelined as a character, and so was Gohan. And the problem of that is, okay, most fans are a big fan of Goku. Now, I don't like Goku as a character. He's too simplistic. I can understand why other people like Goku, but always to me, Dragon Ball, the thing cool about Dragon Ball was that there was many characters and there was always a one fighter that you would like, and Super had too much focus on Goku, and all the other characters were extremely sidelined, especially Vegeta even. And yeah, he got some power-ups there and there, but like fundamentally, there was a lot of sidelined characters in the whole Super, how many arcs was it? Like 3 or something. And that was a mistake, a huge mistake in my opinion. And this was kind of something that really fixed that problem, where we kind of got a bit of like significant power-ups for Gohan and Piccolo, and something like really fundamental in their character development, and I really enjoyed. And then there were some like very minor characters making an appearance there too, like Pen and Trunks and Goten were also making an appearance here, which were totally not present in Super at all in any capacity. At least I don't remember them being. They were not in the tournament arc. So, yes, I thought that was a really nice focus, and I'm sorry to actually think that, the next arcs that are going to be happening are definitely going to be taking focus on Goku again, sadly. But I thought that there was really nice focus on some of these minor characters there. Broly training there with Vegeta and Goku and some of the other characters. But yeah, now let's talk about a bit of some spoiler territory, so in case you haven't seen the movie, now it's time to pause the video and come back to it later after you've seen the movie. Now, there was 3 things I want to talk about here, or 2. First of all, they made Android 21 canon again, which was kind of cool. I mean, I haven't played the Kakarot game, but I really, really like her design. And she was named as Vomi in this. She was very briefly shown in the movie, okay, in just like one data chart, basically, as the wife of Dr. Gero. And I felt like, Gero could have also like gained a bit more background story, like him working on Red Ribbon and, swearing a revenge against Goku and stuff like that. Like, those build-ups could have been done there if they really wanted to flesh out Gero. And I was low-key kind of hoping like maybe Gero is going to come back and it's just like a new android form or something like that. But it didn't happen, and too bad. But, Gero is not exactly like everyone's favorite character. It's a side character I like much because of the meme value. But yeah, okay, it is what it is. But she is introduced as Vomi, and Vomi now is basically canon, which is great, and hopefully they will be introducing her more in the future. Who knows if they're going to be doing... We don't know the future of Super. Is Super going to be adapting these 2 movies all together, or is it going to be adapting where the manga is at? It's really hard to say. And basically, I think there's room to introduce her as well if they're going to be introducing this movie as an arc, which could work because there's a lot of things they could add more things to. So that was a cool thing. Now, there is the main villain, obviously, Cell Max. Now, this was something totally unexpected based on the trailers, and I did not expect this. However, the Cell Max was a bit of a lackluster, and there's 2 reasons for that, because he's just like some raging type of a character, which was very loud, by the way, in the movies. Like, he was screeching all the fucking time, which was kind of annoying at times. It was too excessive in certain scenes. Now, I didn't like the part that he was not exactly super sentient, meaning he wasn't talking. Cell had a lot of bullshit talk and dialogue during all of his forms, basically. And he was like the dialogue villain type of a thing. I think he actually kind of loved to talk a bit. Kind of like Frieza, had a fair amount of like dialogue. And some villains a bit less, like Jiren, for instance. But this was something that was, I think, key component about Cell's identity. And it was totally ripped off. And I also wasn't a big fan of the design. So this was kind of based on the second form of Cell after he absorbed Android 17. And the issue here is that I think they should have like worked on Imperfect Cell and kind of worked towards from there for a new form of a design. But they had some nice ads there, like adding some type of a mace in top of the tail. That was a good addition. But I fundamentally thought that the there could have been some nice adjustments there on the design, which would have made it look a bit more cooler, and going a bit more on the sentient route would have made it really, really cool. But then again, if he would have been a talking character, they might have had to build him up a bit more in the movie, you know. He could have been like a Mewtwo style of a character, but I don't know, like it kind of makes sense not to make him talk if you don't have time to kind of build him up as a villain, because I think that's fundamentally important, that when you introduce a villain, you have to build him up a bit, and he can't just be appearing at the end and, you know, fighting everybody. It's just kind of lame. So yeah, but overall, I thought it's kind of close between this and Broly being the best Dragon Ball movie. Story-wise, maybe better, but they were asked. I just love the Saiyan lore, and I have a bias for that, and obviously I like Saiyan Saga more than I do Android Saga. So, but there were so many good things that were done about this movie in such a good level. The character designs, the music, the new style of animation, and the focus on Piccolo and Gohan and their relationship with each other a bit too, which I just enjoyed very much. So it's actually I was very positive about this movie, because I didn't have exactly very high expectations for it, because I thought it was just like cashing on new superhero, like, you know, concept here, but it turned out to be kind of not exactly like that. But yeah, I definitely recommend this movie, but obviously watch at least the Broly movie and the Beerus movie. The Frieza movie actually is irrelevant in grand scheme of things into the story, so you could basically skip that. But thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comment section whatever you thought this movie was the best of Dragon Ball movies or not, and leave your favorite Dragon Ball movie here on the comment section below. And maybe, if you are interested, I could review the original Dragon Ball series on the channel, or maybe even GT at some point, and Dragon Ball Heroes. But leave me some recommendations on the comment section below, and I will think about them. Thanks for watching. I will be seeing you in the next video. Cheers.